Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Baligian.
Up, he's Mike, I'm Sean. This is something that we do every Wednesday night called What the Puck. Mike, is it safe to say, let's just get right to it, because Mike and I are going to a huge game tonight. How about this? Heartland at Howell, number 2 visiting number 3. Should be a dandy, right?
Absolutely. Who's going to give here? Is Heartland going to continue their dominant season, or is this young upstart Howell team going to stop them? I can't wait.
Yep, no doubt about it. Say the honeymoon period that guys like you and I warned everybody about weeks ago. Is it safe to say that the honeymoon period is over now, Mike, with the Wings?
I believe so. I think the shine started to come off with the San Jose loss, and then we knew what a rough stretch this was going to be here. 8 straight games. We're 4 games into it, and the shine is definitely, if you're starting to see where that rust was before McClellan got there. And he's obviously working on a few things. He's got the boys loving playing hockey, right? He's got the locker room together. They're doing well, but now, every game, I'm more interested in the press conferences than the games almost, just to see what is going to be said, because you know what they're working, because he's right out there. He's going to tell you what they're working on, what they've got to improve, and there's some improvement that needs to be here, especially if we want to be looking at this team like a playoff team. And I don't know where.
It's so funny because when we have conversations like this, I don't want people to think that we're like, quote unquote, bagging on them or anything. But I think the proof is in the pudding. It shows you that right now, the makeup of this team, this roster, is not anywhere near where it needs to be. I mean, really, I think what other evidence do you need that it's not there at this particular juncture, man?
I don't. And if someone thinks we're bagging on them, it's those Kool-Aid drinking fans that just don't want to hear anything and can't look at reality of what is there. By bringing up the obvious, and we might as well just, like we said, jump right into it so we can get to our game here. If you can watch them and you're not concerned about their 5-on-5 play, is that bagging? Because I look at this, Sean, and outside of the 2 goals that they scored in a very nice Florida win, that was very impressive.
It was.
I mean, me and you had talked about that. But outside of that game where they had 2 5-on-5 goals, in the 3 losses, they were outscored 7-2 in 5-on-5 play. And a marker of A, playoff teams, but B, more importantly, Stanley Cup championship winning teams usually is top 10 5-on-5 goal scoring differential. The teams that are on the outside are your elite defensive teams that are obviously, they may not be scoring goals, but no one's scoring goals against them. And they usually have your top end D and your top end goalies. There's actually one exception to that rule. I forget how many years it's been, but it was the Washington Capitals when they won the Cup. They had a negative 5-on-5 goal differential.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, that's not bagging, Sean. That's reality, and you know it's reality because Coach is even addressing it in his press conferences.
Yep. And Mike, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, one thing that we've talked about all year, the penalty kill. When you're struggling still with the penalty kill, hey, it's great that your power play is working, but if you're being beaten 5-on-5 and your penalty kill is brutal, what do you want me to say? Like there's not that again, that's not being negative. I just can't. I'm not one of those people that is going to tell you that the sun is shining brightly when it's pouring rain all around me. It's just that's not quote unquote reporting. Quite frankly, it's not reality.
No, and you watch the games. You can see it. You get the feel for it. But again, if we want to get into bagging, Sean, We could do that. I mean, there's a lot of things there, but no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say our power penalty kill may be struggling, but I like what I see from what it was before.
100%.
They're moving more. They're a little bit more aggressive. They're putting a little bit more pressure on them. The power play is speaking for itself. I mean, it single-handedly won that Florida game with them moving in. And it was funny. They interviewed Kane in between the second and third period. And he hit it right on the head for exactly what was happening at that moment and exactly what has to happen. Outworking teams, right? We're putting pressure on them. And the number one thing, Sean, you'll hear it whether we're sitting here talking, we're driving to a game talking, or we're calling a high school game. I talk about puck retrieval, puck retrieval, puck retrieval. All those things lead up to puck retrieval, add up to some good things. But that only goes so far. But it only goes so far.
It's crazy when you look at it because, again, I mean, and I'm so glad that you brought up the 5-on-5 because sometimes people get lost in the dazzling pretty colors and everything. You're not doing well 5-on-5. Congratulations. Your power play is 2 in the league. And unfortunately, although there is more activation, you're still second to last in penalty kill. And that's just not a winning formula. And as you and I rightfully talked about 3 weeks ago, hey, it was great that the winning streak happened and all of that, but this was going to be a very telling portion of the season. And we said we'd reconvene around February 1st. Now, there's still 9 days left. They can change it. I can't put into words, and if you want to play your bias game, you go right ahead. I'm going to hear it anyway. Tomorrow's game is huge against the Habs because there's a huge difference. All of a sudden, they're looking up pretty high at the Habs. And the Habs win that game. All of a sudden, they're 4 wins over the Red Wings, okay? I mean, that's huge. There's a big difference between trying to make up 2 wins and trying to make up 4 wins, especially when you have a Habs team that, Mike, I can't figure it out. I'm not going to lie. They're 13-3-1 in their last 17. And it's like, where the bleep did this come from? And obviously a huge part of it is Dobish coming in, but even Samuel Montembeault was outstanding last night. I mean, he really was. I was watching that game going, what happened to him, you know?
Well, he's going to have his moments. He's going to have his moments, but the things you're bringing up, as people are going to say, of course, you're talking about the Habs, but they're just one of a few teams that are in front of this Detroit team. And a loss tomorrow, Sean, is huge. It pushes you back, and it pushes you back towards a team we were making fun of not too long ago, the Buffalo Sabres. That puts you – will probably still be about 5 points, 6 points differential there. But one thing, when me and you were coming up with the talk about the show, and I was saying, man, the East, there's 9 teams, I think, within 7 points. But, Sean, by February 1st, Detroit might not be one of those teams. So it's got to be talked about. You got to be talking about them. You got to talk about Philadelphia, who, coincidentally, Sean, is, I think, number 3 or number 4 in the NHL in 5-on-5 goals.
It's amazing how that works out, isn't it?
But, I mean, we can stick on 5-on-5. We can go to the penalty kill, which has got to be better because we're not in the days, Sean, of when you get in the playoffs, special teams doesn't matter because they don't call penalties. You can do whatever you want. Those days are over. Penalty kill and power play are huge in the playoffs. And you look at one of the big things that led an Edmonton Oilers resurgence when we thought they were dead. I think we both proclaimed them dead in the playoffs there. Absolutely. At one point, was all of a sudden you could not score on them when they had their PK out there. So it's huge. So these are all things that, again, call it that we're bagging on them. These are all very important things if this team needs to get to where we want them to be. It's still unfortunate that we're only a little bit into the McClellan regime and we're not more into it. I still wish we would have seen that turnover last year, but what's done is done.
Yeah, let me get to some of your comments. Always appreciate you guys. I mean, the hockey community is great. Dallas game was a letdown. They had nothing on the back-to-backs. That's a process. There's no doubt about that. And I don't know, David and Mike, I don't know if I think that's very telling to me. I mean, that's one good thing that's made me happy. Sorry, as many people have joked about, everything comes back to the Habs. That's one thing that is made me very happy in this incredible run for them is how good they've looked on the back ends of the back-to-backs. Like it's become a contagious thing, and it's still a process that I think the Red Wings are a little bit behind right now. I think they're big time behind the curve as to where we all thought, including Steve Yzerman himself, this franchise would be at this point in time.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle. There's a lot to learn out there. When you hear a coach, I mean, think about this, Sean, and I don't know if many people think about this when this gets said. You're listening to a press conference of a team that is struggling, right? The Detroit Red Wings. We know where they're at in the standings, and you hear the coach say, "We need to work on breakouts." Just let that sink in. I watched that and rewatched that just to let that sink into myself. That think about what this guy's getting himself into by coaching this team. We're working on breakouts in the NHL, and I know it's not as simple as I'm making it, but that's where they're at. They're at the getting the puck moving forward breakout of 5-on-5 is really what he's talking about there, right? Now, the second part of it is, some other things they're struggling 5-on-5, but we're well behind the curve if we're still working on breakouts in the middle of January, Sean.
Austin said, agree, can't rely on power play, especially come playoff time if they make it there. Tough stretch before Four Nations, but the East is so close. I'll decide whether or not I have playoffs hopes, and we should be buyers or sellers come mid-February. We had used February 1st as a goal. And I'm going to stick with it. I'm still going to stick with that. That doesn't mean that it can't happen. But honestly, Mike, I think that schedule, and again, just to let people know what the schedule looks like. Hold on just a second. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to pull it up. Obviously, we touched on this earlier. A huge game with the Habs tomorrow. It really is. Huge difference between trying to make up 2 wins and 4 wins. If the Habs take care of them again for the third time in a month, that's a pretty big hole that they've dug themselves in with the Habs. Then they've got the Lightning. Then they've got Mike's Kings. I can say Mike's Kings.
Yes, you can, baby.
And then they go to Edmonton. Oh, by the way, on February 1st, then they're at Calgary. And Mike, just for shits and giggles, why don't we say until February 4th? Because then you're at Vancouver and you're at Seattle before you come back home.
Right. Yeah, we give it all the way.
Stretch. That's a huge stretch. Let's wait till the West Coast trip is over.
Yeah, you get through that. Yeah, you play Tampa. We head into the Four Nations, and you come right back with Sean's Wild.
You should get like a Wild hat or something, right?
I've got a Boldy hat. Sebi bought a Boldy hat when I took him to the Minnesota game when we were out there. I should wear that for you. Get you really excited. But it's and again, it's just at the end what we were saying is let's not get too excited. That's really going to tell you where you're at and how far behind that curve we are.
Let's see. David said if Lalonde was still coaching the team, we would be battling the Hawks for the basement. David, 100%. Listen, and Mike, I think we both touched on it earlier. You're seeing more activation. You're seeing more engagement. I think you're seeing the McClellan difference, but you know what else we're seeing? And if you guys disagree with me, call me out. We're seeing how not ready for primetime this roster is yet. How many holes there are with this roster still. Right. We really are.
Because you can watch them, Sean. You can watch it any night. I think it was last show. I said when they're moving and they're moving off the puck in the offensive zone, be it 5-on-5 or be it on the power play, it's a real nice thing. They're cycling in towards the goalie. They're moving. They're getting themselves into passing lanes in the shooting positions. The guy with the puck is moving his feet to move the defender to open up those lanes to make those passes. But here we are. I mean, because again, that stuff only gets you so far. And you were seeing of something else that Coach McClellan said in the last press conference. Like I said, I've been listening. I've been listening to this to see where I want to see where he sees this team. And he's really spot on because, Sean, with all that, they just don't have the skill level to get inside the defense, to get inside and to get quality chances. So when you don't do that, you're dependent upon second chances. And he spoke about it in his last press conference saying, we're just not getting our we're not getting them. We're not even getting our sticks on the second chances.
100%.
And that's where your 5-on-5 starts falling apart. If you don't have the skill to get in, you're shooting from outside. You've got to rely on second chances. If none of that is working, this is where you are. What, two 5-on-5 goals in the last 3 games?
It's insane. Hey,
Can't win like that.
Let me tell you about Legacy Partners. Great guys, hockey fans, by the way. Did you know thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Our friends at Legacy are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents. They provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you, and help save you some money at the same time. They did it for me. They've done it for everybody. They can and will do it for you. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're probably paying too much, and you also could be underinsured. So what are you waiting for? Give Legacy a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Call them today, 586-209-4106, or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Austin said, I think we need to move Rasmussen in a trade if possible. Here's a guy they have given a very long leash to. He's like the guy from Mystery Alaska where John Beebe has to explain to him he's a big guy. Dude plays so soft for his size. Austin, I'm not going to argue what you said, but I always like to flip this around. And I guess if you were calling me about Rasmussen right now, Mike, I'd lie to you, even if I thought that there's a bunch of untapped skill. I'd lie through my teeth to you. I would. So Mike calls me and goes, hey, we're interested in this, that, and the other thing. What do you think about Rasmussen? Oh, Mike. I know it's not really happening for him. Listen, this isn't a charity. Mike, even if I was sitting there, like just full erection, okay? Even if I was sitting there with full erection at the mere thought of having Rasmussen on my team, I think right now I would lie through my teeth to you. And I guess I would question how much value is there. Does that make sense? I really wonder how much value is there at this point.
Well, and when you look at that and you're talking value within the player, but also now he comes with a contract that you just signed him to. So that value is out the window. So you're either going to eat some of that contract, and imagine eating contract on Rasmussen, okay? Or what you're going to end up doing. I could see this. Hey, I'll take Rasmussen off your hand, but I got this $8 million bag over here, and you can take his contract for the next 6 years. That's how that's going to work. And I mean, then you have to hope that this reclamation project that you just brought on that someone else didn't want because he's a dog. That's about it. And in the end of it, Sean, if we want to be nice, we got to be nice, right? If Rasmussen can start playing, I went Italian there. Did you hear that? That's going to be a good contract.
How are you doing?
It's going to be that's a nice contract, right? That if he can live up to that contract, you need $3 million players. You need $3.5 million players at the bottom end of your middle six kind of roster there. But yeah, I love it. I mean, we're going to hear a lot about it because the trade deadline will be coming up fast, and I can't wait for those shows.
Austin, the same you, Joey V. I always hope he could turn the corner, but I just don't see it happening. David also added, starting from the basement, so sad that we need to do this with so many vets. It really is. And that's why I keep coming back to we should be further along the path right now. There's just no other way to say that. There's you can't sugarcoat it anymore. You can't beat around the bush. We should be further around the path. Period. End of story. Yeah. I did like the stadium jersey, except for the helmet. ESPN that night loved them. They seem to forget of the Columbus jersey that is so. Mike, the helmet was awful. I think we were in the same group chat.
Yes.
The helmet was awful.
I love the simple script on the jersey. The kind of jerseys I like. I'll take that. That's very sharp, a one-time thing. The more I looked at that helmet, it almost scares you. It jumps out you like that. I did not like that. But maybe, Sean, maybe we're just old. Maybe the kids like it.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Listen, Austin said, totally random, but long story short, I was a little mad on the Four Nations. Then I ran into Darian Hatcher at a local bar around here and ended up going down a YouTube rabbit hole. They're the best, Austin, aren't they? They are the freaking best. And I rediscovered the 96 World Cup of Hockey. If this tournament, while ultimately meaningless, can be anything close to that, I think it will be a success for hockey. You know my feelings.
Yeah.
It is a gosh damn crying shame that we haven't had the best against the best in so many years. And you think of all the great, and I don't throw that word around very often, okay? You think of all the great players who've never had a chance to do it. Now, I'm going to say it again. It should be Five Nations. Russia should be there. Period. End of story. I know you agree, but I have to say it. Every time this comes up, I'm sorry, I have to say that. It has nothing to do with the shenanigans of their madman. Those guys should be there. I'm done. I'm off the soapbox. But, Mike, there's something magical about the best against the best. It's just that simple. There's something about that, wearing that jersey with your country's flag, the crest, whatever the case may be. I'm as excited about that. I mean, again, think of the generations of players who've never had that opportunity. McDavid, McKinnon, great players have never had that opportunity to do it yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I don't know if I'm more excited for the games or for the barbecue. I know that me and you are gonna have. And Sean, I gotta let you in on a little secret.
Yeah.
I went to the Sausage Boss. Remember, I told you that I found this guy, and I ordered some sausages that I'm hearing from my nephew is they are unbelievable, and they shipped out. I'll have them on Thursday. So I'm going to pop them in the freezer, and then you name the game, and I will be there. So I got a Philly cheesesteak one, and I got pretty good. Yes,
that one Philly cheesesteak we had was pretty good.
So he only offered two. So it's the Philly cheesesteak, and I'm going to get. To me, it's a jalapeno popper, but he had a different name to it. It's got jalapeno, cheese, and bacon in it, and I can't wait. My nephew just said he's a local guy that moved out to New York, and you can find his stuff all over social media. And I finally ordered it, so we have some Four Nation sausage.
Well, I have an added bonus for you, and you picked the game. I think I took a picture of it. I got more of the Rinaldi Coney sausage. Mm-hmm. I got a jalapeno and cheddar, which theirs is money. Most everything Rinaldi does. And of course I got the Motor City, which is phenomenal. I don't even know what it is. It's just, what's the name of the one that you get all the time from the place near you? What's the name of the
firecracker?
Dude, get the firecracker.
I'll get some firecracker. I'll get their andouille too. I still say they have the best andouille. The Cajun andouille that's out there. And it's funny you say that. I just picked up some Rinaldi myself, Sean.
I got some
hot Italian.
I got some chorizos as well.
Nice. There. Yeah. Hey, is it a sausage fest? Is that what we can officially call this?
Let's do it. Hey, look at our buddy Chuck.
Did you see me laughing?
Can we have a conversation about clock management? Are we allowed to do that?
I will edit myself, Chuck, to the conversation that we had. But what I will say is, to the point you're making, not NHL, but NFL, Sirianni broke the mold for what I had problems with clock management, and he knows what I'm talking about. And this weekend, watch out, because McDermott's going to McDermott, and he's going to screw me out of some money one way or another. I know it's going to happen. But when I saw Chuck's comment, I lost it, because I know the exact conversation he's talking about.
Our buddy Tom in London, Ontario. Good evening, guys. Good evening to you and Dale Hunter, Tom. Hey, if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville, owned by those two brothers right there. They're going to be at the Habs Wings game tomorrow. They have 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are, and that's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, you're getting ready to sell your company, maybe you're already in retirement, these guys can and will help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life and have clients in over 20 different states. They've done great work for my family. I know that they'll do it for you and yours as well. The investment world is a complex one. So if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it might be time to work with the experts. Reach out to my friends at the Wealth Advantage Group. That's Mike Husak on the left, Jeff Husak on the right. Shout out to Aaron as well. 248-773-8574 or visit their website at www.thewealthadv.com. David said, I think Vancouver and Calgary are going to turn it up down the stretch in the West. That is why I'm taking a look. Like we were talking with our boy Austin. He's hockey elite earlier. That's why I'm saying February 4th, I think we'll know a lot. Like that back end of the West Coast swing, if they meander, they're in trouble because all of a sudden they're going to find themselves in a really deep hole, Mike, with about 2 months left.
Oh, I mean, time's running out. But again, I don't know how much time I give them. We know where we're going to be when it comes to that. So I'm not too worried about it.
The roster still has holes like Swiss cheese. They really do. Let's be honest. The goaltending, the back end of that defense core, there's no doubt about it. Too many forwards with the same shape and style. Dave is a hockey elite. Adam said, speaking of the Hawks, how would Taylor Hall look on the wings? Dave answered. He said, too old, no more old guys, Adam.
No.
Poor Taylor.
And there's two pretty good fits for him, and it's two teams he's played for. From if you read enough, with Boston and New Jersey.
Yeah. Austin said Yzerman, Sakic, Theo Fleury, the fourth line for Canada that tournament. That tournament was unbelievable. I still say in Mike, I think you'll agree with me. The greatest tournament was the 87 Canada Cup. Nothing can top that in my mind. And if I sound like the old guy, go right ahead. Just phenomenal, absolutely great hockey. I thought we got a couple damn good ones in a short span of time, though. The 96 World Cup, and I thought the 02 Olympics. The 02 Olympics, in my mind, Mike, were absolutely phenomenal. They really, like that last game, that Sunday afternoon, the Canada-U.S. gold medal game was unbelievable to me. Really was.
Yeah, I stick with the World Cup. That one just it stuck out just because of it was the first turn of it's our game now, like that kind of stuff. And I think that really amped up a lot of things we see now, because that rivalry was going out the window, the US Canada at that point. And I thought that revved it right back up, and it is where it is right now, I think, because of that moment.
Look what Austin said.
Okay.
How about this? Jalapeno and red meat is undefeated. I'll send you my bacon wrapped cheese and jalapeno stuffed venison backstrap beef tenderloin recipe.
Whoa, Jiminy Christmas, that's a mouthful. Let me see. Bacon wrapped cheese and jalapeno stuffed venison backstrap beef tenderloin recipe. Wow. What we could do with that.
Oh, yeah, Mike, we're going to have to figure out. Well, you let me know. I mean, we know what the schedule is. Anytime you want to come over, we'll just put them on the grill. Austin, stop being objective and bursting my Red Wings bubble. It's minus 27. The Lions lost, and Chris Ilitch isn't spending the money I need. Hope, gosh, damn it. Yeah.
Well, let's we could shine some light on the bubble. They're in the right place. I do think they have the guy that can coach this team. They've got an NHL coach in there that can do some good things. We're starting to do it, but the damage I think that was done with not doing this exactly 1 year ago today, when I was sitting at your house doing the show, Sean, is that you've got to undo 1 year of roster moves,
right?
That don't fit where they think they are again, and what they thought it was going to be. Which is, it's just a mess right now. And there's very little cap space in there. Now, going forward, there's going to be some expiring contracts that leave them some spots to fill, and we'll see. But we're 1 year behind where this should be.
Mike, I want to get your thoughts on the 3-on-3 overtime, because you know what? I know people like you and me and a lot of people out there, we love to bash some of the decisions that the National Hockey League has made. Some very quizzical ones in our lifetime.
Yep.
That is one that is working. And I want to get into it in just a second. By the way, jalapeno baked potato with baked beans, cheese, so good, butter, sea salt.
There's nothing bad that he just mentioned right there. The problem with this is now I'm hungry.
Oh. Well, seriously, Mike, honest to God, and to you guys, Mike, I mean this, and all. You and I did not have this conversation today. Here you're talking about all those things. I picked up all that stuff today. I literally put it in the freezer down here. I have 2 different kinds of chorizos. I have the jalapeno and cheddar. I showed you I got the coney ones the other day, we're good to go, and we'll probably mix in some racks of ribs. Let's talk about Lindsay Broadwell. When it comes time to get yourself a house, you're buying, you're selling, oftentimes both. You need to contact the right agent. Who do we recommend? That lady right there. Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. Now, when it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, even first-time buyer, doesn't matter. She's got your back. So make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She'll help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Chris said 5 minutes of 4-on-4, then 5 minutes of 3-on-3. You don't like that idea?
The season's taxing enough. The last thing you want to do is add time onto that. And when we're doing this, I don't know what some people, so bring up your full thought so that I can get a look at what you're talking about. Because you only send me little glimpses, so you can surprise me. So
no, Mike,
throw it at me.
Well, you know this, and anybody that listened to me many, many years ago do the Ice Time show, and everybody, not everybody, strike that, Sean. A lot of people were falling all over themselves talking about how great the shootout was. And my former partner and I, Greg Brady, used to get into huge shouting matches about it. Shout out to my boy Brady. And over the course of time, I think people got sick of it. The flash wore off. I didn't like it from day one. I know you didn't like it from day one. It is an awful way. Anybody that calls himself a hockey purist, I have no idea why you could say, oh, it's exciting. No, it's not exciting. It's stupid. It's dumb. Okay. Mike, I think the 3-on-3 was put in place to do its best to have as few shootouts as possible. Because the thing about the National Hockey League, the National Hockey League does not admit defeat. They don't.
Right.
They don't do it. They should have waved the flag so many times on Arizona. And even when they finally waved the flag on Arizona, they didn't wave the flag on Arizona. Okay. So they don't like to admit defeat. It was cute and funny and people seemed to enjoy it. But even some of the pious, holier than thou international media members have kind of turned on the shootout. And I sat there going like this, I told you it's a gosh damn joke. Mike, gosh damn it. I enjoy the 3-on-3.
Yes.
And it's making for far less shootouts. I would call that a win for the National Hockey League.
Boom. You're 100% right. You hit on like all my points, Sean, is that they went to the 3-on-3 to get less shootouts because they saw the luster was wearing off. The shine was wearing off on that. And it took them a while. And if you go back and the other thing the 3-on-3 also was going to do was bring excitement, right? It was going to open up the ice more. So there's going to be excitement. And then they were thinking it would bring in less shootouts. But let's just go back at the beginning of the 23-24 season, Sean. They were talking about changing the rules within the 3-on-3 to stop what people are doing because the shine even was starting to come off the 3-on-3. because it became a puck possession, get the puck, regroup, and only shoot the puck when you had the highest quality scoring chances. It started to lose that. Now, here's the problem. I don't know what happened because not much has changed, but there are the least amount of shootouts going on right now. And you're talking 77% of games that are going into 3-on-3 are ending. They're not going to a shootout. The average since they started the shootout was 97 games going into a shootout. So a little over three games a team. Right now, we're looking at ending at around 60 to 62 games going to a shootout this year. And the only thing I can figure is we know how analytical sports is getting, right? And they're just breaking all the numbers down. Are a lot of teams realizing that they're not getting anything out of the shootout? Like they're just not a good shootout team. You're seeing the same old teams win on the shootout. So they want to do whatever it is to not get to a shootout. I don't know. But as we stand right here today, January 22nd, 2025, Sean, it's working.
It is.
It's working.
And you guys, I know some of you guys have been with me for a long time, like Chris and David and Adam and Austin. I used to get in shouting matches about this, and I would scream about, no shootouts ever. And when the NHL brought it in, it's not bad. Yeah, it's a gimmick, but it's not bad. It was a gimmick that I think even those people would admit that it's run its course. Even the people that back then, you're overreacting and everything, I think they would admit at this point in time that it's run its course. Let me read some of these comments to kind of support that. Chris said, get rid of shootouts. David said shootout is boring. Agreed, shootout lost their luster. Austin said, and I love this, I'm sorry, bring back ties. Adam said regular season ties are totally fine. Mike, I don't understand it. For the life of me, I don't get why they are so adverse to a tie. I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense to me. So what? Who cares? It's a stupid tie.
I agree 100%, and it's kind of simple math, Sean. If we're looking at 77, if we're looking at 77% of these games are ending before a shootout, right? And now you're going to say a tie is a tie. Now you can't get that extra point unless you win this in 3-on-3. You don't think that's going to open up 3-on-3 and make it even better? Whoever's thinking that is purely stupid. That 77%, I don't know if we'd ever get to 100%, but it would open up enough. You're talking 89, 90, 90. You're going to get up there in the percentages of games that will end because those points are precious.
No doubt.
And we want to end it. You kind of like you said, I forget what you were talking about. And put it on the field, the 12-team playoff, let them decide it on the field. Let them decide it on the ice, 3-on-3, and they will decide it. If they need that point, let's not go back all the way to when, if you remember, Sean, the Devils making the playoffs in overtime, and I think it was 87 in Chicago. I'm remembering the goal. Right? So they were going to pull the goalie in overtime. If you think teams won't even pull the goalie to get that extra point, you're killing yourself. And think about how freaking exciting that would be with a goalie pulled in overtime. I mean, it's simple. It is simple. The numbers will go up.
Gordy said shoutouts as bad as an idea as a home run hitting contest after 9 innings. Who in the hell makes these decisions? Who is making these decisions? Shootouts make as much sense as the home run hitting contest after 9 innings. Old guy making repetitive comments when he doesn't know how the platform works. Thank you, Gordy. You're not wrong. And say it again for the people in the back. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and play the I told you so game for all the people that I screamed at and yelled at. This was, it was on my daily radio show. It was on the Ice Time show. I screamed and yelled and screamed and yelled. And now I've had people say to me, okay, the gimmick wore off. It was cute. It was, I hated every second of it. It was 3-on-3's working. 3-on-3's working. Let it work. And you know what? After 5 minutes, and maybe we're all sitting there going, wow, Was that a great overtime? You know what you do? They both get their point. Mike, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
If you put that precious point on overtime, if you don't think they're going to end more, you're wrong. I mean, more games will end in that 3-on-3 overtime. The ice is open. It's there for the taking. Some teams sit back. Oh, we'll go into that pretty little shootout. Do it. End it. Be done with it.
Cornstalker asks, here's a great question, Mike. Minnesota did that against Vegas last season. Goalie pulled and lost. Do you like the no loser point in that case? So you and I are advocating I strongly advocate for ties. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Mike gets a tie. I get a tie. But here's the thing. Do we make the 3-point game if the game goes to overtime? You know, kind of like a soccer type of scenario. Mike, you beat me in overtime. You get 2 points, but just because I'm in overtime, I get a point. Do you like that scenario?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Totally cool. Totally cool. I think you'd see more teams play for ties anyways, unless you're in that scenario that Cornstalker talked about. You know what? And I have no problem with going into the shell and saying shut her down. But with that being said, if it's 3-on-3, you can play for a tie all you want. And if you're playing for a tie in 3-on-3, chances are you're going to lose the game.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I overtime's right there. I'm not going to play for a tie and everyone gets a point and goes home. There's extra points sitting there, obviously, for you to go to overtime and to win that game into overtime. But again, no more than it was before, right?
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, I got one more read to do before we get out of here. All About Catering LLC is a full-service caterer. Graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, heck, anything you need catering for from 25 to 4,000 people. Rick and the folks at All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. So don't sweat your next big event. We were talking about it earlier in the show. Guys like Mike and I like to cook, okay? But sometimes you need somebody to do the cooking because you have to shake hands and kiss babies and all that stuff. So just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today. Check out their menus, all their 5-star reviews. Give them a call, 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Now, Mike and I have to get going a little bit because we're going to a great hockey game tonight out there in Livingston County. How about number 2 Heartland traveling to number 3 Howell? Mike, I love it. What else would I be doing on a Wednesday night when the Habs or Wings aren't playing?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, we're gonna go bust out into the cold, walk across the street, sit in a cold rink, and just watch high school hockey. Yeah, I know what you're laughing at. So go ahead and read it.
I hate the entire Kachuk family, especially the fat dad. But seeing him and Shesterkin get into it was fun. One of those guys you hate when he's not on your team, but love when he's on yours. I love them. I absolutely love them. I'm sorry.
I knew that's what you were laughing at. I knew what you were laughing at. Now, and down to the last comment here from Chris, which I love is that a logo? Is that what that's called? Is Peter Puck logo there?
Peter Puck logo. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. 3 points for a win in ordinary time. 2 points. You know me, Sean. I'm simple. I want the days of where you win, you get 2 points. If you can make it to overtime, it's 1 point. The winner gets 2 points. Let's just go. You don't get that extra point. That point becomes huge. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah. No, I get it. Austin, have you heard my Kachuk story? I got a chance to know Keith a little bit when Brady was playing for the NTDP, and I was doing the broadcasts, and Brady beat the snot on an overager when he was like 16 years old, and Keith was very close nearby, and he walked up to me and he went like this. He pulled my headphones away so I could hear, and he goes, "Matthew plays like his mom. Brady plays like me." And I'm thinking to myself, mom's got to be pretty tough because Matthew's one tough son of a cookie. You know what I mean? But yeah, pretty funny stuff. All right, Mike, I'll see you. What, about 45 minutes, something like that?
Yeah. What time is it? Look at me. 6:41. Yeah, about 45 minutes. We decided on 7:30, right?
All right. So while we're here, all right. So we got all these sausages. Maybe I'll get some beef short ribs. Todd, you're more than welcome to come over and watch hockey with us. I'll do the slow ribs, the very slow ribs, like I told you about on New Year's Eve, and we'll make an event out of it.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm in. Lots of sausage, lots of ribs. Let's go. I'll bring the beer.
All right. God bless you. Until next week. Thanks for checking us out on What the Puck. See you. Bye.
What the Puck with Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Always Pushing Forward by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.